Joins us live from Halifax County with the latest. Michael?
Hey, Christine, we're over here on Cemetery Road. This area right here is part of the area where investigators were searching. Now, there's a little command post, which is right down the street from here. There are tons of vehicles. They are law enforcement vehicles, so we can only presume that the search is still going on. But right now, they aren't telling us anything. And part of the reason for that is because a gag order has been issued by Superior Court Judge Alma Hinton. So right now, they're not saying anything. But while all this is happening, a mother is still wondering, where is her daughter? Crews fanned out Friday morning about 9:30 in another day of searching for Jalecia Reynolds. She went missing February 22nd, and family members say they haven't seen or heard from her since. Crews were lined up looking for any type of clue that might lead to her whereabouts. Her mother says it's not like Jalecia not to come home. She made a plea hoping her daughter could hear her.
To come home, and that we love her and we miss her. And whoever have any information on where she at, please speak forward. Because this is a small town, it's not a big town. And I know somebody knows something.
Dive teams searched the Roanoke River, but because of the gag order, it's not clear what exactly they were looking for or what is leading investigators to search the water. It's also not clear if law enforcement had a chance to speak with Dwayne Davis, a convicted sex offender. Reports state Davis's home is the last place Jalecia is known to have been.
Well, as being in State 12, it's kind of, bothersome, but still hoping and praying, optimistic.
It's not clear at this point what was the relationship between Reynolds and Davis. We do know that she last logged on to her Facebook account from this home. We did ask Jalecia's mother if there was a relationship between the two. Here's her answer. As far as you know, did your daughter know Mr. Davis? Miss Reynolds didn't respond to our question for about 12 seconds, then told us no comment. Now, we did try to speak with the DA here in Halifax County because we were told that all questions needed to be referred to her. We called her office and our calls were not returned. We're live in Halifax County. I'm Michael Baldwin, WITN News.
Suspect down and joins us live from our Greenville studio with what happened. Michael?
Christine, I confronted the man accused of growing more than 40 marijuana plants in his home. As you can imagine, he didn't have much to say, but no comment. We caught up with Dustin Coffey just outside his house. Okay. Did the police have it wrong? I mean, the stuff that was growing in there, in the house.
Bro, I ain't no comment.
You have no comment? In case you couldn't hear him, he said no comment. Then he said he would call the police if we didn't leave, but police were busy doing a show and tell with the media. They say they found these marijuana plants, 47 of them, in Coffey's house Wednesday night.
It's the largest grow operation that we've had in Farmville.
Farmville police say Coffey has been growing the plants for the past 3 to 5 months. They say they found a heater used to keep the plants at a cozy 76 degrees, a light used to stimulate growth, a digital scale, and not to mention the .40 caliber pistol and 12-gauge shotgun recovered as well.
That is scary. You've got somebody that's growing marijuana and also armed. It's a dangerous situation.
The arresting officer asked us to conceal his identity.
I'm glad we got it off the streets, and if the citizen wouldn't have called and told us about it, there's a chance that we may have never found out about it.
It was a tip from a citizen that led police to Right Drive, a place where neighbors say you'll find a lot of families and kids.
But I'm kind of glad that they found out in the neighborhood that we got children down here, so we found out what was going on.
The arresting officer says he dealt with a similar situation like this in Greene County, where in 2007 he helped recover 3,300 plants. That's why he said when he got to the house, he knew exactly what to look for and exactly what to do. Christine, back to you.
There
Okay,
and
thanks,
talked
Michael.
with the mother and school officials.
He's live now in our Greenville studio. Michael?
Christine and Dave, school officials would not go into what exact disciplinary steps were taken against the teacher, but whatever they are, the parent of the 18-year-old student still claims the school has not gone far enough.
Well, I'm out here this morning because a teacher called my son retarded.
And that is why Claudia James and family members were out protesting Wednesday morning outside of J.H. Rose High School. James says her son, who is in a remedial math class, was stunned when he heard his teacher say what she did.
He says, Ma, he says, I was so angry, Ma, that I didn't say nothing, Ma. He said, but then she looked at me and asked me, oh, you're not going to say anything? Like trying to provoke the child. And that is downright abuse. That is abusive. That's ugly.
Mrs. James says this all started last Wednesday when her child wanted to throw out a piece of paper. Apparently the teacher had said no, and then the student threw out that piece of paper anyway, and the teacher asked, "Are you retarded?" A spokesperson for the school would not go into detail, only saying action has been taken against the teacher.
What occurred in the classroom is unacceptable to the district. We believe that our teachers are, held to a high standard.
Mrs. James says that's not enough. She wants the teacher fired. But standing out with picket signs, we asked if she was taking this too far.
No, I wouldn't say that was an overreaction, because we as peers and educators, we should know better. You know, words are mental abuse is just as worse as physical abuse, sir.
Miss James' son and daughter both had a class with the teacher. James has requested that they be moved, and that move was granted this past Monday. She says she may choose to homeschool her kids. David. Now, according to sheriff deputies, that's when things began to get a little out of control. They say as they were trying to remove property, he began taking things out of his pocket and throwing it at them. So with the bus turned over on its side, many of the kids did what they were taught at the beginning of the school year. An emergency happens, you go right out the back. So someone opened up the door and the kids hopped out. In fact, we talked to other people in the neighborhood who said they had heard about Miss Mills' bill. Now, many of them said they didn't get a bill for $1,000, but they said their bills were extremely high as well. So this is the part where the reporter's supposed to try out what these people are doing. Nah, I'll pass. It's 6:30 in the morning, and 15-year-old Andrea Wilson has quickly learned that being a mom, no matter how old, requires something universal. It's called patience. Her 8-month-old son is named Arhelio, and he was born 27 weeks premature. She uses this breathing apparatus with her son twice a day. She says Arhelio's lungs are getting congested.
Yeah, she's had it hard. He had surgery the day he turned 4 months for a blockage in his small intestine. So.
After Andrea gets his meds out of the way, she knows a good old bottle of milk does the body good. It also gives her ears and nerves a rest, something she rarely gets, as her son has had a hard time sleeping in his own bed. What do you find most difficult?
Getting up through the night.
How often does he get up?
Well, now he's starting to sleep through the night, but usually it's 2 or 3 times a night.
The only free time Andrea gets to be a kid herself, you know, she is 15, is when she's heading to school. That's about the only time she's not a mom. So how did we get to this point? We put that question to Andrea's mother, Tammy, by the way. She was a 15-year-old mom herself. Now a grandmother 10 times over. All but one of her 4 daughters had a baby by the age of 15. Despite all that history, Tammy says she was shocked to learn Andrea was pregnant.
I just didn't expect that from her. I mean, she never went out hardly. She never did anything. You know, I wasn't expecting this from her. I mean, everything was school, school, school.
But lessons she lacked may have cost dearly. Tammy says the one subject she never really discussed with her daughter was sex.
Yeah, I think I should have been way more in depth with it instead of just glossing over it. I guess I figured that with her, maybe if I didn't go into it so much, that it would keep her, you know, but I was wrong.
Well, she told me not to get pregnant, but, she didn't tell me the facts.
Andrea is certainly not alone. In 2008, the number of pregnancies in North Carolina was just under 20,000, a staggering number, but it represents a 30-year low. But high numbers are a claim to shame for several Eastern Carolina counties. Leading the state in pregnancies among teens ages 15 to 19 is Terrell County. Edgecombe County comes in number 2. Out of every 1,000 teenage girls in Edgecombe County, an average of 110 get pregnant. The rate of pregnancy among white teens between the ages of 15 and 19 in our state is 50 out of every 1,000. Among minorities, it was almost 80. The rate keeps rising among Hispanics. Out of every 1,000 Hispanic girls between 15 and 19 in North Carolina, an average of 150 will get pregnant each year. Andrea's friend Bernice, who lives right next door, also got pregnant at 14. She has a young daughter, and she feels part of the reason is because her mom never talked to her about sex.
Yeah, because like mom, she didn't want to, so the teacher like told her if she wanted to, she could explain stuff to me.